Now let's go into some honorable mentions and some teams that will probably be discussed as favorites for this World Cup. This is not one of those not one of those World Cups where there's an out and out favorite. I know there's talk of Brazil and Argentina as being huge favorites, but I don't see them as being a cut above everybody. So, which means this is going to be a very open World Cup. So, I'll just talk about the squads and a couple of the teams that have a chance to get through on this World Cup and have the quality. I think that on their given day, and as you know, in a knockout game, it's probably going to be tight. It's probably going to be 0-0 or 1-1 with a penalty shootout win. So there's going to be a few teams that on their day can put out anybody. Just like the Swiss did to the Swiss did to the French at Euros, there can be a team that can provide a shock. A Croatia that can just get through on one side of the bracket and make it all the way to the final. So here, firstly, we have the Germans. You've seen in my predictor the reason why I have them as a dark, not even a dark horse. I think they can get all the way to the final. Good defense, not great defense. So I know on screen you can see Ram at left back, Kimmich, Sane. I mean, Neuer is a world class, the original sweeper keeper, backed up by Ter Stegen and Trapp. So they got depth in the goalkeeping department. Ginter, Kehrer, Klostermann, Schlotterbeck, Rudiger, Schuler, decent defenders. In the midfield, Julian Brandt, Goretzka, Kimmich, Gundogan. So they could play Goretzka, they could play Gundogan, they could play Kimmich in the midfield. They could play Kimmich as a right back if they feel that the right back is not strong enough. And then their front line, Nabri, Götze, Havertz, Hoffmann, Mukoko, Musiala, Thomas Muller. Five subs coming off the bench. If three of them don't work, imagine bringing three of those strikers onto the field to end the game. Frightening. On your right, you have the Portuguese, and the Portuguese. Rui Patricio is still in the nets. I hope it's that plays, but I think it will be Patricio. But then you look at Dallo, Cancelo, Pepe. I know he's still there after ages, but Ruben Diaz leads that back line. Danilo has been excellent. Nuno Mendes has been amazing. Rafael Guerrero is a very good player. Lots of quality. In the midfield, Paulinho, Carvalho, Ruben Neves, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, Mateus Nunes, Bernardo Silva, João Mario. Now that I'm looking at the squad, I'm wondering why did I write them off so early in the tournament? And then you have strikers, João Felix, Ronaldo, Rafael Leo. If you had to look at squads and just the squads on per their name, this Portuguese team has every single ingredient they need to get to the final. That's how good this squad is. This squad is as good as any other squad in the World Cup. It's just about how Fernando Santos decides to play them and how Cristiano Ronaldo and his off the field stories comes to haunt them or to inspire them. So it could be either or. And they've got a very difficult group to figure that out in. So they can't start slow. If they do, it'll be a difficult World Cup and probably not get past the group stage. However, if they can put all the pieces together, they have the squad that can trouble anybody. Brazil is the favorites, undoubted favorites, number one in the world. Two of the best goalkeepers in the world in Alisson and Edison. A backline that includes Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Militao, Danilo, Daniel Alves is there just as a backup. But you have good centre backs, solid wing backs, I would say, more than inspirational wing backs of the past, like your Roberto Carlos and your Cafu. But then you get to the midfield and you get Casemiro and Fabinho as the holding, Fred and Bruno Guimaraes, Lucas Paqueta. they basically play with a two in the midfield, probably Casemiro. Sorry, three in the midfield. Casemiro with Fred plus Paqueta as a starter, which means they can have Fabinho on the bench with Bruno Guimaraes as the man coming on. What a man to come on! Then up front, they have their choice. They have nine forwards led by Neymar, Vinicius Junior, Rafinha, Richarlison, Anthony, Rodrigo, Gabriel Jesus. You can pick your poison. Same with Germany, getting this off the bench in a tight game where team is sitting with a low block, bringing on some fresh legs. That can undoubtedly be a huge strength for Brazil. On your right, you have Argentina, Emi Martinez, Christian Romero in the centre back. Not even a starter. The starter, in all likelihood, for Argentina will be Otamendi with Martinez. So Romero on the bench, probably, and not even Foyt on the bench. So Foyt and Romero on the bench. Wow. Molina wide, Talifico wide. And in the middle, you have Paredes and DePaul. DePaul is an exceptional player. So Paredes and DePaul, I know the screen says McAllister there, but they have a choice of playing McAllister or playing an additional forward. And in this case, Di Maria, Messi, and Lautaro, supported by Dybala and supported by Alvarez. Wow, wow, wow. England expects, England always expect, and England for the longest time have never succeeded. 1966 was their last tournament. They came close in the 2018 World Cup and they came close in 1990. What those teams had is the 90 team had a very inspirational figure. So they had Paul Gascoigne. The 2018 team were were good enough and they were found themselves on the right side of the draw in the 2018 World Cup. When everybody fell away from that half of the draw, England stepped up. England won their, I think it was their knockout game against Colombia, their first penalty shootout knockout game win, and that pushed them through. But when they eventually came against a decent team in Croatia, they struggled. They went, I think they went a goal down there. So they struggled against the Croatians and got knocked out in that semi final. Uh, I don't think this England team is as good as that England team, but I think they can get better in the future. I'm not a huge Gareth Southgate fan. I think he's wasting the talents. England is very, very good going forward if you look at the talented players, but Gareth Southgate chooses to play uh, probably in a 3-5-2 system, and that takes away from the talented attacking players because of the deficiencies in their defense. Playing Harry Maguire probably not going to be the best idea. Maguire in the defense, and if you look at the squad he's picked, he's basically saying, okay, we're not going to play a back four. We probably going to play a back three. That's otherwise there's no point to pick Cody. There's no point to pick Dyer, and fill your team with wing backs like Walker and Trippier, and even Ben White to an extent. So, uh, having said that, on their day, this pragmatic England team can get forward. And Harry Kane can be the goal scorer. Bukayo Saka is an amazing player in sublime form. Phil Foden is a classy menace. So with a front three of Saka, Kane, and probably Foden, that is enough to beat most teams. Off the bench, you can bring Raheem Sterling and occasionally Callum Wilson with Jack Grealish coming on as well. So nice depth off the bench. Madison also on the bench, probably Mount starting. But yeah, good team, good players going forward. A bit suspect at the back. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a debate in England uh, because England doesn't play the same pressing way that Liverpool does, which means there's deficiencies or there's let's say opportunities in behind Trent that gets exploited a lot. And if your defensive midfielders are not in the same level and quality, then it's going to stand you not in great stead. Spain, what a team Spain is. Spain has a DNA. They have a way to play. Luis Enrique is molding this team in his image. He's a very my way or the highway kind of coach. He's dropped a few players that people thought might make this team, like Sergio Ramos. But this team will be, and this sounds really strange to say, because Pedri is in essence the cog of this team, and that sounds very strange to say at his age. People forget how young he is. Pedri and Gavi will dominate that midfield. Some support by Rodri and Koke. So you're going to have a lot of ball possession. You're going to have a lot of great player like the Spanish normally do, the tiki taka way of football. And again, not a rock solid defense, but good enough. Probably Laporte and Garcia. I don't know why Garcia is the number one, but Luis Enrique likes him. Uh, and then up front, you're going to have probably Ferran Torres with Alvaro Morata, and off the right, probably Sarabia. But good players will keep the ball, lots of possession, nice intricate football. Probably get past the group stage, probably get past the second round. Quarterfinals depends on the day. And then to my favorite team, I fell in love with them a long time ago. There was once an ad that described them as always the bridesmaids, but never the bride. This is the Netherlands team, the Dutch team, the 74 team and 78 team, the Cruyff, the total football teams. The Dutch have a way of playing football. They try to play the total football, the 3-4-3 in many ways. They did it for a long period of time, evolved it into a 4-3-3. And now under Van Gaal, they're playing more a 3-5-2, but that 3-5-2 becomes a 3-4-3 in the way that the Dutch players are fluid. This Dutch team is stacked in the defense. And when I say stacked in the defense, I mean they have great quality players that don't start. They even had to drop Sven Botman. That's how good their depth is. Their weakness is their goalkeeper. Pashvir has not played a lot of games. He's the entire three goalkeepers at the World Cup have not played. I don't think more than 10 games combined for the Dutch team. Now that tells you that Van Gaal was not confident with his with Sillerson before, so that's why he's called up Hashviat now. A man that used to be was almost on the verge of retirement, and he's back. He's back in the national team mix. Going forward, the Dutch play a different style of football. They don't play a target man football. They play a very fluid, very energetic, very intricate passing style, and they get at you. So their midfielders are all technical players, all good with the ball, and their wingers are their attackers are wingers in many ways. So you'll see them play a system with a 3-5-2 in if you look at it per the board, it'll be a 3-5-2. But what will happen is the team will go from that 3-5-2. I'll give you 1 second. Let me just pull this up. So the 3-5-2, and I've tried to, because I was confused as well. I was wondering, okay, how do you fit all these good players in? And so I spoke to a friend of mine who's one of my Dutch friends, and he was in looking at the Dutch media and the way that Van Gaal plays his friendlies and things like that. And he said that Pasveer will start in goal. The captain, their center back will be Virgil van Dijk. So he'll be at the center of the back three with Ake and Timber. So Timber plays an important role in this Dutch team. because of his ball carrying ability. It means that with ball carriers in all of the back three positions, the Dutch are always moving forward. So they always try to keep that ball moving. Blind is due to play on the left, but it could be Malasia. Dumfries on the right is very, very attacking. So he's listed as a defender. So if you guys play the Fantasy World Cup game, he's listed as a defender. But in the way that the Dutch play their system, he essentially becomes a midfield attacking winger. In the midfield, you're going to have Koop Miners and De Jong as your traditional midfielders. Just in front of them will be Gakpo, Cody Gakpo, who has lit up the Eredivisie this year, and then ahead of them will be Depay and Bergwijn. And now that's a lot of attacking threat, a lot of technical players, a lot of quick players. Expect the Dutch to be quick in transition, good on the ball, and have some good depth all around them. So this is a team I named, but it doesn't include the likes of De Vrij, De Ligt, Malasia, as I said. Up front, you've got Bergwijn and Berghaus. So a lot of very good technical players, very good team together. So they work very well together in the way that they play, but not a traditional team. No traditional number nine. They rely a lot on Depay for their goals, and Depay is not fully fit. I'm not sure if he'll make the first game to start, but he probably will be on the bench. If he does start, he is for the Dutch. He is another level. So he at Barca, I know it's been hot and cold, but for the Dutch, he is the go-to man, and there's a reason why Van Gaal waited for him and gave him special consideration, whereas others he dropped for not playing. With Depay, he's made sure that he waited for him. And that's my look at the World Cup contenders. Thank you very much, everybody. I really, really enjoyed that. It was really, for me, it's lots of fun. I love talking about football. I can't wait for this next 24 hours to pass. And then Christmas begins, and it takes you all the way up to actual Christmas. So this is gonna be a great World Cup for me. I think so. It's gonna be a great World Cup for everybody, football-wise, and I think we can all safely say that we really, really want to watch some good football. So now that all the side discussions, all the FIFA controversies have gone past, let's get down to football. Let's get down to watching some of the world's greatest talent in the world's greatest game, the game of billions. Let's get down to watching the FIFA World Cup.